This is the Apple 1 month overview reading for the month of January 2024. It's currently November 21st, 2023, 12:09 p.m. Eastern Time. Apple at the time of this reading is currently $190.20. That's USD. And the shuffle video we're about to play for you was created on October 25th, 2023 at 1:53 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video right here in the corner. So the overall theme and behavior for Apple in the month of January is a period of sideways rotation that ends with a fast sudden move higher. It's crossed with a notable decline standing out on a one year or year-to-date chart scale. When we look at it from the standpoint of a 1 year, it's very, very likely that we have a highest high for the year here in the month of January. And we have cross-reading congruencies all over the place. We'll get into that in more detail in the paid version. The behavior around the highest high, we have a decline from the high down to and through support on a multi-day scale to meet a second support, and then we rotate sideways along that support. Behavior around the low, there'll be a notable reversal standing out on at least a 1 month chart. It'll be prominent, like really standing out as a really notable reversal, you'll see, and that'll be near the low. Before we go any further, guys, I just want to make sure everybody's aware the whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. We do that by following the rule of karma for the channel, which is the unwritten agreement between the universe and people utilizing this information for profit. The way that you follow the rule of karma is you go to our website, tarotfortraders.com, click on resources. 5% of all trades that are profitable, 5% of the profit should be donated forward to one of these charities, effectively transmuting competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. Imagine if everybody in the stock market did that, how much better the world would be. And then 5% of profit should be donated back to the channel, help support the channel, and say thank you. That leaves you at 90% of the money. Make sure to spend that money out of love. As long as you follow those rules, you follow the rule of karma for the channel, the universe considers you an angel investor. It's going to send it back to you tenfold. Neglect to follow through on those rules, my friend, and the universe will not follow through in its end of the agreement as well. All right, so it's important to understand when you're reading a 1 month chart or a 1 month reading, each card going across horizontally from left to right and top to bottom. So like here, they each represent about a day of time. So the first, the second, the third, fourth, fifth, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, a day of trading, a trading day of time, I should say. But the thing that's important to understand is that not each card's energy is going to line up perfectly with 1 day of time. So you need to understand that you need to give it like plus or minus one, maybe in rare cases 2 days, but usually plus or minus 1 day of wiggle room, and that keeps you pretty much 98 to 100% accurate. But what's important is the sequence of events, following the chart events in sequence. When you find yourself slightly off on timing, which doesn't happen on every reading, it's only sometimes. You might be slightly off for a moment, and in cases like that, to stay on track, you just follow the sequence of events. So we're going to get into where we see prominent highs and lows, and as far as the best trades, the highest highs, lowest lows, price levels, and comparison and performance to the S&P 500, all that stuff you'll find in the paid version. So here on the second, well, on the first actually we have off, and then on the second it looks like there's an unexpected move to the upside. We probably have a high here on the second in the midst of that notable move, and then it's a near overbought crest that we sell off from. It might even be on the morning of the third, or we might see it twice, first in the morning of the second and then on the morning of the third, but we sell off from it on the morning of the third, it looks like, from a near overbought peak or crest, and we decline notably to revisit a support level that we recently met once before. That's going to have to be somewhere in December. Oh, interesting. We've got this star card here at the end of December. Wow, that's interesting. It's probably support like right around here, maybe from the 27th, or actually it's probably support by this lowest low here. We have sideways rotation along that support on the 4th and a trade opportunity in there. That'd be our second trade opportunity. A decline on the 5th that increases with momentum moving forward in time, and then that decline takes us into a lower open on the 8th. Either that or we decline into a prominent trough on the morning of the 8th, or out of that low, we have a notable move from the bottom of range all the way to the top of a range. So a prominent trough there, and likely a prominent peak of some kind as well. On the 9th, we decline through multiple support levels relevant on a 1 month chart scale back down to another prominent trough, not quite as low as the trough of the 8th, I believe. And then on the 10th, we have multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance and another trough midday there that's about the same price level as the 9th. There's a trade opportunity on the 8th and a trade opportunity on the 10th. We'll talk about in more detail in the paid version. And before we go any further, let's take a look and see how we're doing in November. So I had a lowest low here on the 3rd. I did this in a lot of the November readings where I missed the low by 2 days. Like I said, very rarely, but it does happen. You need plus 2 days rather than plus 1 or none. And you can see the low here is on the 1st, but we came pretty close to it on the 3rd. I wasn't far off there. We had a high on the 15th, and then it looks like higher highs here on the 22nd. So we should see probably a higher price level tomorrow on the 22nd, and then some notable declines. It looks like we probably start to decline in the following week. There may be one more high on the 29th, but it's hard to say because there's some conflicting data and there's a sharp drop there. But this is looking pretty solid, guys. So the 17th had a sharp drop in it. That's at unicursal. Pretty accurate, guys. And as far as when that was created, if you're wondering, the November reading for Apple was created September 3rd, 2023 at 2:52 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, so let's get into it again. We attempt to establish support on the 11th, and it looks like it may be at a high again. We might revisit a high there on the cusp of the 11th, 12th, and a pretty notable decline early in the day on the 12th to a prominent trough midday on the 12th, out of which there's a pretty big move higher. It'll stand out on a one month chart scale, and a prominent peak as well on the 12th. So a prominent trough and a prominent peak there on the 12th. We have off for Martin Luther King Day on the 15th, and then on the 16th, sideways rotation along key support, followed by a notable move higher on a 1 month chart, followed by sideways rotation at a higher price level. We probably open lower on the 17th and then rally out of a trough. Rally ends though on the 17th. More trade opportunities here on the 17th, 18th, and the 19th, and also this Ace of Cups in the central location really indicates an important trade on like a year to date or on a 1 year chart. And we're going to talk about all that in more detail in the paid version. So the way that you get the paid version, if you're interested in supporting the channel, guys, we know the names of every everybody that goes and supports the channel with one of these paid subscriptions. You go to our website, tarotfortraders.com, our services, hover over our services, click on SO Meta Posts, scroll down to monthly subscription, click here to order. You want to subscribe to the Apple in this case. It's $111 a month, well underpriced for the information that it gives you. Again, it gives you price level information, it gives you the highest highs and the lowest lows timing, it gives you the best trades as well as what chart behavior to look for entry and exits in those trades. It gives you the comparative performance between the S&P 500 and Bitcoin, lots of stuff that you don't find, as well as cross-reading congruencies and any trades that are relevant on a multi-year scale as well. Thank you to everybody that goes ahead and does that. Without people like that, you guys are really the core foundation of support for the channel, so you're a big part of the mission here at Tarot for Traders, transmuting competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill and blowing the minds of people that don't believe anything is possible. Once you see that something impossible is possible, you start to think what else is possible. You become more curious. It expands your consciousness. It's a really, really important thing to be able to do for other people. So blessings to everybody. Let's get into the rest of that reading. All right, so we have some mixed behavior on the 18th, the sideways S formation where we decline from resistance down to support, reverse, go all the way back to that resistance, and then reverse and go all the way back to that support, creating a sideways S formation. It's usually within a horizontal channel, but sometimes it's diagonal trend lines. On the 9th, we have an important trade opportunity. There should be a lot of price change covered there. There's a prominent peak as well. It's possible that I'm picking up on a possible low here on the 17th, and then on that sideways S formation on the 18th. Both days have a trade opportunity. On the 19th, a pretty significant cash out opportunity, which I'll talk about in more detail in the paid version. On the 22nd, we have a prominent peak, probably late morning session. So we rally into that in the early morning, and then there's a failed attempt to break through key resistance, followed by a decline through key support. It's probably the support that's established somewhere around the 19th or the 18th or the 19th. And then on the 23rd, we have a pop and drop, a prominent move higher, followed by a full retracement of that move back down, and another trade opportunity towards the end of the day at a minor peak. So, a lot of volatility on the 24th with a sharp drop that'll stand out in that period of volatility, and another prominent low here on the 25th. It looks like a prominent low and a prominent peak on the 25th. We have a lot of back and forth behavior going on, sideways fluidity, equal amounts of bulls and bears, inflow and outflow, moving sideways overall, but like with big price swings. On the 26th, we have a failed attempt to break through key resistance and another decline through key support, a U-shaped dip on the 29th that forms near the intersection of two perpendicular diagonal trend lines. Probably another gap down on the morning of the 30th, and another significant trough there on the morning of the 30th. We do sideways rotation along that trough. It's a sharp drop into that trough, but we do sideways rotation in that trough, establishing support, and then there's a big move higher sending out on a 1-month chart there on the 30th. We'll probably see a prominent high of some kind there on the 31st when we break through resistance momentarily, and then we break back down through that same price level shortly thereafter. The sneak preview for February is a rally along a diagonal trend line that ends with a fast move higher, and then a breakdown through that diagonal trend line with increasing volatility on the way down. And again, when we look at it from the 1 year standpoint, we have highest highs, year's highs here in January. So to determine where we'll determine where those are in the paid version, and we end up in a notable decline towards throughout the second part of the month, with a rally maybe right at the end of the month into resistance here. It's a mixed month in February as well. That's Apple for January 2024, my friends. Please, if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel. It really helps out the channel. If you have subscribed, please share this channel with somebody that you think it would help. Most importantly, guys, do not forget to follow through on that rule of karma. It's so important to follow through because the universe has short patience for people taking advantage of this information. This information is not for selfish purposes. The universe refuses, but you can utilize it to gain wealth as long as you're making it also a part of doing something good for other people, right? That's the rule of karma. So follow through on that every time. Don't put it off. And you do so, you know where to go. Here are the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders. Blessings, my friends. Blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay tuned if you got the paid version.